Well, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. A few hours ago, I put out a video with the Day 10 news for Path of Exile Scourge League teaser season, only to have more information come out since then. So one of the things I covered in this morning's video was Strangle Gasp. This is a chase item, and there was a mistake in that video, or potentially a mistake. So I wanted to quickly clarify that, then we'll go on to the two new pieces of information that were brought out after that last one. So firstly, Strangle Gasp. In the previous video, I said that the can have 3 additional enchantment modifiers, that these additional modifiers would fall off the item if the item was corrupted and lost that mod. This I no longer believe to be the case. As the game currently stands, players have tested this and have confirmed it. There are a couple of other items that are vaguely similar to this that also drop from Blight content. And these items have the ability to have multiple Labyrinth Enchantments on them. So a very similar modifier to this. Those items, if they become corrupted and they lose their unique status, they change from a unique item into a rare as a result of corruption, then they actually are able to keep all of these extra enchants on them. That's the way the game currently works right now in the 3.15 expansion. I had believed that this had been fixed in the past, that it was considered a bug by GGG and had been fixed. I have asked Bex at GGG for clarification as to whether this is intentional or not. There's no answer back yet, so I'm just going to work under the assumption that it is possible that Strangle Gasp will actually keep all 4 enchantments on it if you were to corrupt it and it then were to transform into a 6 mod rare item, which can happen with Vile corruption of an item. So keep that in mind. Strangle Gasp was already going to be really good. It may be even better. It's still going to be a very expensive item and extremely, extremely chase. Secondly, some changes were made to the Eternal Labyrinth. Now, I think that this is going to make 2 groups of players very, very happy, whilst a lot of other players are going to go, yeah, big deal, who cares? But those 2 groups of players will be rejoicing. And those groups are solo self-found players first, and secondly, it'll be the sort of tier of players that maybe get to about level 90 over a league, and for whom running Eternal Labyrinth is sort of a key milestone in their progression that happens quite late in their journey throughout a league. So if you're more of a power gamer, if you're the sort of person that hits level 93 by day 3 of the league and gets the Eternal Labyrinth done sort of 12 hours into the league through trading with other players to get all your trials, you're not really going to care about this change, but it's good to see that the game is catering for those types of players too. So the requirement to flag for the Eternal Labyrinth is being completely scrapped. You don't need to do the 6 map trials anymore. They will still exist. They won't exist in white tier maps anymore, but they will still exist in yellow and red tier maps. So you'll be able to loot yourself an offering to the goddess that way, or you can get offerings to the goddess through other means such as heist fragment chests or the divination card for the offering to the goddess. And once you got your offering, all you need to do is just beat Merciless Lab and then you're automatically flagged for the Eternal Lab. You also need to be character level 86 or above, 68 or above. 68 or above in order to get into the Eternal Labyrinth. Currently, at the time I am recording this video in 3.15, you only need to be character level 60. So I think that those players will be very happy with these changes all around, and good for them. I think it's a good thing that that change is being made. Lastly, the Xana Mods were announced, and it's worth saying that both some things that people will really look for are here and some are missing. So firstly, Beyond is present, Delirium is not present for things that are at the very sort of popular with top-end players. So Beyond is present at a cost of 5 chaos per use, Delirium is absent, Ritual is absent, and so this will change around a number of farming styles. But let's go through everything that you might consider using. Fortune Favours the Brave first. You'll probably only use this if there's a challenge related to it. Even though it's a good price, it seems like a good value price-wise. You can't use it in conjunction with synergies. You can't use it in conjunction with, say, choosing specifically which Xana mods to use because of the Atlas passage you've allocated in the region. And so I find it doesn't work all that well in practice. But by all means, if you like it, use it. Breach. Don't know whether this will add 1 or 2 breaches at the moment. That has been changed from time to time in the game's history. So 2 chaos is pretty cheap. I think it's usually cost more than that when it's been available as an option. This will be really good for getting yourself breach stones to then potentially earn Uber breach stones from. Essence is back. Essence is 3C this time. I think it's been 2 the last time. It's pretty good when it's available. especially since the 3.13 changes to the Atlas. We don't know what the exact options for Atlas passives around Essence will be in the new league, so it's something that you'll probably want to use on every map that you've got significant Atlas passive investment in, and you won't otherwise want to use. Bloodlines is next. Bloodlines adds a bunch of extra magic monsters to a map, as well as causing every magic monster in the zone to have a Bloodlines mod, which are pretty scary mods sometimes. Generally speaking, this used to be really good in the past, back in the days when maps were scarcer and having more magic monsters on a map mattered a lot more because it would mean you get more map drops. These days, doesn't really matter much. The only time I recommend using Bloodlines at the moment, is subject to change until it gets full patch notes, is in a context where you are running your highest tier map and you're nearly out of relevant tier maps. At that point, yeah, throw in 3C for Bloodlines just to get more magic monsters, because magic monsters drop a reasonable number of maps and they drop reasonably high tier ones when they do drop them. Ambush is next. Add strongboxes on. The numbers have changed at various points in the history of the game, and Ambush is something that's generally not worth using unless you are using it in conjunction with specific sextant mods. But if you have those sextant mods, there are some really powerful farming strategies you can do that use the Ambush Xana mod in conjunction with Ambush Scarabs, and in conjunction with the Prophecy Monstrous Treasure if it's available. Beyond adds a staggering amount of extra monsters to a zone. This is a really dangerous mod to use if your character is not yet super strong. So don't use it early on in progression, but especially if and when you can get your hands on a Headhunter, Beyond is absolutely broken in conjunction with a Headhunter. Additionally, it's pretty good even outside a Headhunter if you're in a situation where you can very comfortably punch through tier 16 maps with no delirium layers on them. Adding Beyond is a good alternative that will add about as much challenge and about as much loot as being 20% delirious. So this is a pretty good thing to have as an option on the map device, and there will be players that are very excited to see it back. Legion is next. Legion is going to be something that gets a little bit of love in 3.16 with the Uber domain of Timeless Conflict being added. And so this will be a way to get yourself more Timeless emblems in order to potentially take on the Uber domain of Timeless Conflict at some point in your character's progression. And additionally, at 6 Chaos, it might seem steep, but it does tend to be worth it. Last, we got Blight as an option. So Blight's costing 8 Chaos, and that seems, again, like a lot, but it does tend to pay for itself. The thing with Blight is that the Blight encounters take a while, and I think that you will use Blight if and only if you have a lot of Atlas passives that would be relevant to it. Anyways, that's all I got on this part 2 of the day 10 information for the Scourge League spoiler season. May your Valobs have interesting results. And just a quick heads up on what's coming over the next couple of days. Tomorrow will be day 11. I'll be putting out a video in the morning. I'm also getting my second COVID shot tomorrow, which may mean that I am really tired afterwards. So that may interfere with my ability to react to anything that comes out later in the day. I'll have to see how I shake up after that. Day 12 is the big day. Day 12 is the day that the live stream is happening. Now, if like me, you're on the eastern coast of Australia, it's happening at 6 in the morning. Which is going to be fun and games. If you're in somewhere else in the world, then it might be at a more civilized time. Definitely watch in for this. This will be when we learn all of the details of the actual Scourge League itself. Everything that we've got so far has been about things that change the core game. So these are being general Path of Exile changes that don't apply specifically to the Scourge League. These are all things that are going into standard straight away as well. Day 12, the news will be all about that Scourge League. There'll be a little bit of the Timeless stuff as well, but I think that the big information will be how Scourge mechanics work, what new stuff we can expect to see, what antagonists we're going to be going up against. So that's something to really look forward to. After that, there'll be a week where there'll be a couple of big pieces of information, like the patch notes and the like. So there's a lot to look forward to in the next week. And then, of course, League start is on day 20 of spoiler season. So that's all I got. Have fun, and may your Valobs have interesting results.